Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. This is my second year in a row I will be cheating on the NFL with another league perna. The XFL is my 2020 spring side chick. Today, I'm doing something cool though, which is unlike the lame shit I usually do here. I'm collabing with FlemLo Raps to break down the XFL for you. I'm going to preview what week 1 will look like and give you a rundown on the Eastern Division of XFL teams, focusing on key players to watch. FlemLo is breaking down the Western teams with some of their key players to keep an eye on. So make sure you check out his YouTube channel and subscribe when you are done here. I put the link in the description, so click it or suffer the consequences of only knowing about half of the XFL. FlemLo makes really good football videos. I thought you guys would enjoy it, which is why I'm really excited to collab with him. So let's start talking XFL. That's good. Sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're new here. I do football videos almost every day. I make more football videos than you will want to see. And also, I have an urgent PSA, pubic styling announcement, sponsored by Manscaped. The breaking news is that your balls have never been safer. The Lawnmower 3.0 is now available. After more than 18 months of development, the Lawnmower 3.0 is the greatest ball trimmer ever created. The 3.0 features an LED light to illuminate the darkest crevices when grooming below the belt, a new no-slip diamond textured grip, new anti-tug trimmer guards, and the advanced skin-safe technology that your testes testified in the name of with the 2.0. When we're talking about your package, longer is always better, and the Lawnmower 3.0 packages a longer battery life up to 90 minutes. Pay attention, my new promo code is SPORTS20. SPORTS20 will get you 20% off, plus free shipping when you buy the Perfect Package 3.0. Sign up for the replenishment program, receive 2 free gifts, 20% off, and a replacement blade every 3 months that's compatible with both the Lawnmower 3 and 2.0. Yeah, this has been your pubic styling announcement. Now the XFL, due to real funding, better promotion, and overall better organization, should provide a better product on the field than the AAF.
Ooh, it's like a bunch of popcorn in my groin when I do that.
Say what?
It's like, oh, in my groin, it's like freaking popcorn.
Knowing Vipers QB Aaron Murray's groin feels like popcorn is subliminal sex marketing. When you think of popcorn, you think of putting things in your mouth, and now you associate that with Aaron Murray's groin.
Gosh, darn it!
Now the XFL is made up of 2 divisions, West and East, just like rap music in the early 90s, but with less feuds. Your Western teams are the Seattle Dragons, LA Wildcats, Dallas Renegades, and Houston Roughnecks. The East belongs to the New York Guardians, St. Louis BattleHawks, DC Defenders, and Tampa Bay Vipers. The games will be much easier for you to watch as they will air on ABC, Fox, ESPN, and FS1, all real channels, unlike the AAF, which aired on the defunct Spike Network, and of course QVC. Now the first thing you should know is that Andrew Luck's dad, Oliver Luck, is the commissioner of the league. Smartly, the XFL hired a guy we can root for, a guy whose propaganda we will blindly follow because his testicles created Andrew Luck, unlike Roger Goodell, whose testicles created concussions and weed suspensions. Game 1, Dragons at Defenders. Again, FlemLo will give you the deets on the Dragons, so I'll focus on the Defenders. Oh God. I can't believe I said deets like I'm a 15-year-old girl all over again. I'm nervous, I just don't want to mess up this collab. The Defenders head coach is Pep Hamilton, a guy who coached Andrew Luck at both Stanford and the Colts. Does that mean he has the juice to talk Andrew Luck out of retirement to play in a second-tier pro football league that is absolutely unworthy of his talents? Yes it does. Expect him on a roster by week 3. Until then, they have 2 quarterbacks who could have huge upsides in the XFL in Cardale Jones and Tyree Jackson. Jones was the second pick of the quarterback draft a couple months ago in the XFL, but with a nickname like 12 Gauge, should have been number 1. Jones' rise at Ohio State is well documented, and I think he could be the biggest star in the XFL if he plays well. He backed up Phillip Rivers for 2 seasons, so you know he knows how to lose a game. But more importantly, if he chooses, he can now get a woman pregnant just by looking her in the eyes. On offense, they have some talent around 12 gauge. Donnell Pumphrey is the second all-time leading rusher in the Mountain West Conference at San Diego State. He was picked by the Eagles back in 2017, but never quite made it in the NFL. At wide receiver, they have a name that should be familiar in Eli Rogers, who played 4 seasons with the Steelers, including a season with 600 yards. Next to him is Rashad Ross, one of the standouts in the AAF, earning the highest receiving grade in the league from Pro Football Focus, and he led the league in touchdown receptions with 7 and was second with yards in 583. And of course, I have to point out that in the secondary, they have former Bronco Raheem Moore. That's all I'm going to say about that. That poor bastard. The defenders are most famous at this point for trying out PFT Commenter at place kicker. Commenter performed better than expected, but I'm not going to hype him up too much until he lobbies to get me a job at Barstool, which they should now be able to do given their unlimited financial resources. Seattle Dragons, their head coach is Jim Zorn, with quarterbacks BJ Daniels and Brandon Silvers, who I'm rooting for equally as a man whose initials are indeed BJ and my first name is Brandon. Game 2 will be the Wildcats at the Roughnecks. Those will be covered in FlemLo's video, which is nice because I have no clue who head coach June Jones is for the Roughnecks. I like to believe he is the husband of actress January Jones. How perfect would that marriage be? June and January Jones. Well, perfect for June. It would be terrible for January to waste her perfect looks on June. She's so out of June's league, he might as well call himself November. Wildcats head coach is Winston Moss, who leads the XFL in coaches who look like they could absolutely kick my ass. Quarterback, Josh Johnson, who of course was the #1 pick in the AAF draft, only to get signed by the Washington Redskins after all of their quarterbacks nearly died on the field. He played decent in Washington and may be the best quarterback in the XFL. They also have a wide receiver named Kermit Whitfield. But no relation to Patrick Mahomes. Game 3 will be an all-Eastern slugfest between the Vipers and the Guardians. If we know anything about these two teams, which we don't, it's that this is the game of the week. The Vipers' official quarterback / running back is at @spottheball_9, aka Young King, aka Quinton FLowers, who could be the best player in the league. A guy who can run and throw in a league that allows double forward passes is king. The 9th king, just like his Twitter suggests. And to make shit really confusing, I will also call him Timothy Chalamet, who was a young king on Netflix. Now, I'm leaning towards the Vipers as my favorite team in the East. I like their look, I like their name, and they're already taunting other YouTubers on Twitter. I'm excited to see former LSU and Falcons corner Jalen Collins on the field, and not just because they posted his mic'd up segment on Twitter.
Why you ain't hydrated? I should smack you. How you caught your cramp at the beginning, bro? He caught a cramp, man, one-on-one. Beginning of practice. Boy, ain't drink no water.
Hey, can I get a water, man? My dog hot over here, man.
But because he has the scariest visor I've ever fucking seen in my life. This is what the XFL is all about. Collins was a solid corner at LSU, only got 8 starts in the NFL, but he managed 2 picks in 2016, and at 6'2", if he balls out, could easily get another look by an NFL team. The Vipers head coach is Mark Trestman, former Chicago Bears head coach, longtime NFL coach from 1981 to 2004, before becoming the OC at NC State and then jumping to Canada to coach the Alouettes in 2008, which is a little fishy. You left the country as soon as Obama was elected, Trestman. I'm watching you. He's coached for 11 NFL teams, 2 Canadian teams, 2 college teams, and now an XFL team. Without double checking, it's fair to say nobody has ever coached in more leagues than Mark Trestman. Vipers running back Davion Smith had at least one great run for Orlando in the AAF. He finished as the 6th leading rusher in the Alliance, but was 2nd in rushing tutty buddies with 6. Now, Aaron Murray was no Mike Berkovici, but...
Look at his front of his pants. It's just straight and moist.
In Keep an eye on receiver Reese Horn, who somehow managed to finish 4th in receiving yards with a combo of Christian Hackenberg, Zach Mettenberger, Johnny Manziel, and finally, a real quarterback in Brandon Silvers throwing him the ball. The Vipers' best weapon, though, could be receiver Antonio Callaway, who you probably remember from the Browns' Hard Knocks, and who was cut in November of this last year out of nowhere due to disciplinary issues. He should have been a star in Cleveland, but will maybe get a second chance to impress in the XFL with his 4.4 speed. Guardians head coach Kevin Gilbride not only leads the XFL in coaches who look like they also own a pizza shop, but has a huge home field advantage opening day and is the only coach in the XFL with 2 Super Bowl rings. He was the Giants offensive coordinator from 2007 to 2013, so he knows exactly how to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Not sure that'll help him in the XFL, but he knows. This team is stacked with quarterbacks in Matt McGloin, Marquise Williams, and AAF standout Luis Perez. McGloin is known for getting rocked by the Broncos in the final game of the 2016 season after Derek Carr broke his leg, only to get injured himself, so the now Roughnecks quarterback Connor Cook could be annihilated in the playoffs by the Texans. Talk about a chain reaction of events, which was also the game Aqib Talib snatched Michael Crabtree's chain. I think McGloin will do very well in the XFL due to his NFL experience, but if he doesn't, you can bet your sweet ass I'm calling him Matt McGloin. Now the best player though on the Guardians roster is right guard Davion Mama, which literally translates to Devil Mother, which is sad because his mom was an absolute angel. Birmingham Iron Corner Jamar Summers is on the Guardians defense. He played very well in the AAF, was one of the hardest hitting corners in the league, and finished with 3 picks and 10 passes defended, which tied him second with guys like Devontae Bosby and Keith Reeser, who both made it back to the NFL this year to play with the Chiefs and Broncos, and both unfortunately landed on IR. The 2 Guardian players I'm most excited to watch are receiver Mchale Mckay, who is not just the most nutrient-rich receiver in the league, but was the 7th leading receiver in the AAF in yards and 3rd in touchdowns. The other man is none other than Joe Horn Jr., son of legendary Saints receiver and 4-time Pro Bowler Joe Horn, the original. Naming your son after yourself. Talk about tooting your own horn. The final game will be the BattleHawks at the Renegades. The Renegades head coach is Bob Stoops. Stoops may be the most well-known coach in the XFL. He was the Oklahoma Sooners head coach for 18 years with a 190-48 record and a national title back in 2000. Dallas QB will probably be Landry Jones, but Eric Dungy would be my choice based on how good he looks shirtless. But this is FlemLo's team to cover, so I will shut up now and stop showing you half-naked dudes. The St. Louis BattleHawks head coach is Jonathan Hayes, who has the perfect amount of pure masculinity to bring football back to Missouri, which doesn't have any football teams, as confirmed by our president. Quarterbacks Nick Fitzgerald, Taylor Hankey, and Jordan Te'amu are all pretty mediocre options at quarterback, in my opinion. Fitzgerald and Te'amu are both young players with mobility, and then Hankey has a little bit of NFL experience to rely on. I believe Te'amu will start and should be well known in the area after throwing 5,600 yards and 30 touchdowns at Ole Miss, which in my mind stands for Old Missouri, not Mississippi. Now, they have another couple of former NFL guys at running back in former Redskin Potato Matt Jones and former Seahawk Christine Michael. Matt Jones was great as Badger in Breaking Bad, and great at breaking bad tackles for Washington. In 2016, he was averaging 16 yards per reception and could be a great weapon in the screen game. A couple untimely injuries are really what hindered Jones from prolonged success in the NFL. Now, there's not really anyone that scares you at receiver as far as I can tell, but maybe that's just because after covering Antonio Brown, nothing scares me about wide receivers anymore. DeMornay Pearson-L had a strong preseason with the Raiders and will probably have to be their main threat in the passing game. And tight end Wes Saxton has bounced around the NFL and the AAF since 2015. DeMornay Pearson-L finished with 414 receiving yards in the AAF, which was 6th best, and he's easily the best player since Antoine Randall L. to have his last name end in the Spanish word for the. that I have ever seen. Defensively, their best player may be safety Will Hill. Linebacker Terrence Garvin was pretty damn good for the Orlando Apollos, but was even better at breaking punters' jaws in the NFL, blocking for Antonio Brown on punt returns. Kevin Huber will never forget Terrence Garvin. And assuming Garvin doesn't force him to eat through a straw for the next 6 months, the most exciting player on the BattleHawks roster is their punter. And you know, when I talk about exciting punters, I can only really mean one of two people. And Pat McAfee is very much retired. It's Marquette King. He is going to be kicking bombs for the BattleHawks. I'm still not entirely sure why or how his NFL career went off a cliff so quickly, but he should be an asset for St. Louis in their weather-controlled dome. And that's it. That's your Eastern recap, breakdown, rundown. Again, check out FlemLo's video to learn a little bit more about the West, and I will be recapping the XFL and covering it as best I can for the entire XFL season. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Subscribe here, YouTube. Please do it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Brandon Perna, and my writing partner at Guillermo Yaves, who helps me write football stuff here.